Hey guys, I'm Dimension Jumper and welcome back to another general discussion video. And yeah, it's been a while since I believe I've done one of these. I don't know 100% remember when the last one was released, but in today's video I'll be going over the Nintendo Direct that happened on Wednesday, this Wednesday just gone. And yeah, that was some Direct. We were given a whole bunch of releases for upcoming games, even a couple of remastered games, or here and there. So start off with, I think we should probably start off with Pikmin 4. And I would say, yeah, this game looks interesting. I think, even though I haven't played any of the other Pikmin games, this one, it looks interesting, to say the least. And yeah, I would probably have a go at it, maybe. And it looks fun. I think if I want to have a better understanding of the whole Pikmin universe, I'll probably have to play the other three games if I want to have a better understanding of the universe as a whole. But this is a game that looks fairly interesting and looks quite fun. And yes, I think I would personally be interested in looking at. And yeah, and another thing is that there is going to be a Game Boy / Game Boy Advance online system thing. It kind of like with the NES, the SNES, and the Nintendo 64 online systems. We're going to be getting Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games, and yeah, I think again that's something really cool because new fans will get to experience old games from like the Game Boy and Game Boy Advanced eras of when they were released. And in the games that we were shown, we've shown stuff like the Zelda games, so Minish Cap, the Game Boy games. I believe that's it when it comes to Zelda games from the game. Link's Awakening. Also Link's Awakening. There was also some Mario games like Wario Land, I believe 3, which I didn't know was a thing. I didn't know there was a Wario Land game series. I knew of WarioWare, but I didn't know there was Wario Land games. There was also Mario World 3, I believe, and the 6 secret coins. I think that's the name of the title. And there's also Mario Kart Super Circuit, I believe, which looks interesting. And I think I'm more used to the newer Mario Kart games with like Mario Kart 8 and Kart 8 Deluxe. When it comes to the gravity and the anti-gravity and the gliding and all the new tracks and stuff like that. So yeah, that was definitely something interesting. There was also a remaster of an old game, that being Metroid, the original Metroid Prime, and I was kind of glad that I was half right with Metroid Prime, because in Wednesday's video I talked about Metroid Prime being a sort of prediction for being in the Direct. And even though it was Metroid Prime, the original, being remade for the Switch, I was half right of there being a Metroid Prime game. So I'll take half a point for that. There's also quite obviously a new wave for Mario Kart Deluxe, and yeah, I do enjoy the latest Mario Kart game. I think each of the ways that we have been given are really interesting, and obviously each of the old tracks from previous games are really well made and well fitted into the Mario Kart 8 formula engine thing, in terms of using the anti-gravity or the gliding or any of the new items that we have seen over the last few years in terms of Mario Kart games. And yeah, and also there's Birdo. Birdo's a new character, which is quite interesting because we haven't really seen something like this since I believe the original Mario Kart game, or Mario Kart game, yeah, for the Wii U, where for the DLC, we for both the Triforce pack and the Animal Crossing pack, we got new characters for both packs. So it was, I believe, Link, Tanuki, Mario, I believe, Cat, Peach, both villager male and female, and Dry Bones Bowser, I believe. So yeah, now Birdo's in the game, and kind of like with the Australian Shy Guy, there's going to be multiple coloured Birdos, and I think that's really interesting because that means for the final 2 packs there could be new characters that could be brought into the game, and yeah, and they could possibly fit a particular track, or they could be like, oh, there's going to be a track where it's based on this particular game, or it comes from this game, but we're also going to bring in Pauline or something from Mario Odyssey, and that'd be something quite cool to see. Just seeing characters we've seen in the Mario series just coming together and just being in the game. And I would probably also like to see old carts or new carts that fits the characters that they're brought in. So, for example, for Birdo, because Birdo's in the game, or going to be in the game in the near future, there could be a bike or a cart that's a Birdo themed, maybe, kind of like how we got the Master Cycle Zero, from Link. Well, we got both the Master Cycle Zero and the Hylian bike for both the Wild Link and just normal Link. So that'd be something quite cool to see. And yeah, now I'm going to talk about the main reason why I made this video. So the main reason why I wanted to make this video was because of Tears of the Kingdom, the latest trailer, and that trailer that we got for Tears of the Kingdom is probably the best trailer that I've seen for the game, and mainly because we got to see so much more of the world. Because mainly throughout the past few trailers we were given Hyrule, the Sky Kingdoms, a bit of the underground system, but now we got more of that. We got more of Hyrule, more of the underground caves, more of the Sky Islands, and there is so much detail in every single area. Because with the underground area, there's like a bit with some Pigoblins and some Lithalfosses, I believe, and they're just mining away at some, I believe, ore. I believe it could be, regular ore that you see around the world, or it could be luminous stone, because later on in the trailer you do see Link fighting a luminous stone Talos. So maybe the Bokoblins are probably mining luminous stone deposits. That could be something. And also there's like this sort of this sort of I would say energy thing that's kind of, it's kind of hard to explain because again we don't know too much about it, and it could be some sort of energy conversion, maybe, possibly. So something like this energy thing could be giving Ganondorf his life back and kind of regenerating him back into his more powerful form, maybe. Or this could be powering a particular dungeon, like, let's say, Hyrule Castle, maybe, and it's got some weird magic connected to it, because I don't think that the tentacle pillar things will be connected to Hyrule Castle itself. It could be shooting the malice upwards and making Hyrule Castle just float. Maybe that's the reason why. And in the Sky Islands, we get to see some new enemy thing, because we haven't really seen too much of the Sky Island enemy habitation sort of thing. The only thing that we have seen is probably that robot thing we saw in one of the first trailers that we saw for Tears of the Kingdom, and this new looking enemy kind of reminds me of one of the bosses from Shadow of the Colossus, in a sort of sense, because it's this giant enemy covered in like that weird green energy that we saw in the previous with the previous monster robot thing. So there could be two variant robot things. That could be the first one that we saw is probably a friend maybe, and maybe turns into an enemy, and then the second one we saw is probably an enemy. But they could possibly, well, the first one could be an enemy straight up, and that's something we have to fight maybe. And yeah, and then with Hyrule Castle, or the Hyrule Field itself, we get to see some new enemies, and I think the new enemies are probably, they're so cool looking, because on the Hyrule Castle, no, not Hyrule Castle, the Hyrule Bridge, we do get to see, for a bit, a dragon, with fire heads, and that could be one of the new mini bosses, if not a old boss brought back. It could be Gleeok, maybe. We're not too sure. It could be we don't know, because we have given so little information about Tears of the Kingdom, and the speculation is just wild. And I think the way that Nintendo is marketing these games are really cool, and I'm really excited for Tears of the Kingdom, and also Ganondorf. Yes, for a final point, Ganondorf, we get to hear his voice for the first time. Unlike in the previous trailers, we just saw Ganondorf here and there, but we actually get to hear his voice for once. And I think from what I've seen and from what I've heard online, it's probably Matthew Mercer. And if you don't know who Matthew Mercer is, quick guide. He's a voice actor who's voiced a lot of characters in anime and games. He's voiced Jotaro, Levi, Yusuke from Persona 5, Attack on Titan, and JoJo's, and a variety of other characters. And he's also a part of Critical Role, which I think is quite nice. And yeah, and from what I've heard of Ganondorf's voice, from the bit of dialogue we've heard, as well as a lot of people online, I assume it's Matthew Mercer, and it'll be really cool if it is. And yeah, when I first heard the voice, I was a bit surprised, because for Ganondorf, I was thinking more of someone like Patrick Streicher, I believe that's his second name, or surname. I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, I was thinking more of someone like Patrick Streicher's voice, like him being, because he has voiced a lot of characters that have like a deep, menacing voice. Because he's voiced Endeavor from My Hero Academia. He's voiced Dio from JoJo's, and he's voiced a lot of other characters that have had deep, menacing voices. And yeah, when I heard the voice for Ganondorf, that caught me off by surprise. So yeah, overall, this Direct was probably one of my favourite ones. It's got a lot of enjoyment out of it from me, and I do have enjoyed a lot of the games that were announced, mainly Tears of the Kingdom. And yeah, I do like how each game has some really cool things to bring, whether they're being old games or new games or somewhere in between. And yeah, this Direct's really cool. I think the hype is definitely worth it, and hopefully there's more news to come in the future, and hopefully Nintendo can keep this hype going, because I'm sure it's hyped for a lot of these titles, mainly Tears of the Kingdom. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I hope don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.